Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the session of business correspondence and reporting. We're doing chapter number 2, sentence types, active, passive, direct, and indirect speech. I hope you liked the last session and the concepts were clear to you. And you have gone through your study material and gone through those concepts and maybe the exercises and some more exercises from internet, and you've practiced it well. Today I won't waste much of a time and I'll quickly start with the class because we have to cover a lot of actually many concepts today. They are very interesting. If you just move along with me, they are not confusing the way the concepts were confusing in the previous class. So things will be pretty much clear to you if you are clear with the concepts that were taught last time, like something like clauses, when I will be using the word subject, object. So if these words are clear to you, you will be quickly understanding what I'm going to start teaching you today. Before I begin with the class, I hope your study material is with you. It's handy with you because I will be referring to the study material a lot today. I have not written the rules of things again and again on PPTs, or maybe I won't be writing it again and again by on my board because that's just complete waste of time. So I hope the study material is handy with you so that when I'm reading any rule from the study material, you know where am I. I'll mention the page numbers, but at least you will know where am I and from where I am reading, right? Rules are very well explained in your study material, so I did not want to, repeat it again, writing on a PPT and the whiteboards and everything, right? This is it. So let's begin with today's class. I'll just check your query box once if there is anything that you would like to say to me. Okay, they're mostly the good afternoons. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm glad that you all joined on time. All right, so let's start. The concepts that I will be covering in another 30 or 40 minutes, they are actually in the first PPT that was uploaded, right? And the sentence. So today we will be starting with sentence, the types of sentences. Now, when I say types of sentences, I'm sorry, I did not ask you. Are you all ready for the class? Shall we begin? Yes, you can mention it yes in the query box if you're ready. Kanishka, I am very glad that you have done the homework. So maybe towards the end of the class we'll discuss, because right now I don't want to get into that. That will just, slow down the entire process, right? Honey, I have seen your query. I will take this up towards the end of the class. Just remind me towards the end of the class, we will take this up. Okay, great. So let's begin. Let me just share the screen. Okay, so this is the one. I thought it was I'm so sorry, wait. So sentence types are basically when you know what sentences are. And sentences are basically of two types. We define and, we classify them into the two types. And one is based on the structure and one is based on the function, right? Now, before I start with what function means and what structure means and how why these sentences are different from each other, I would like you to know that you should know that how a sentence can create an impact. Every sentence has something to do. I mean, a sentence could be a question also. A sentence could be giving instructions also. A sentence could be, expressing your joy, your sorrow, anything, right? So the sentence conveys a lot of meanings, right? We classify them so to understand a function. Like if you know what if you don't know what question sentence is, right? Would you be able to understand the question? Question to you? No. right? So, or maybe if you want to question somebody something, how you're supposed to frame your sentences. This is what we will discuss. If you want to give instruction to someone, how you going to frame your sentence, right? What are the main components in it? What the sentence can create an impact to it, right? In terms of structures, we will talk about, if you're writing a long sentences, how you're going to frame it. If you're writing a short sentence, and every sentence, can have multiple parts, but how those multiple parts need to be placed to convey the correct meaning, right? Okay. So a sentence is not a good sentence unless it makes a complete sense. It conveys your complete thought, right? Which is why framing of the sentence is very important. Framing of the sentence correctly is very important. By correctly, I mean it's by the structure wise, right? It should be grammatically correct. The punctuation should be in place. Though your use of verbs should be appropriate. Everything we will be studying right now, right? So we will starting from sentences, then we will be moving to subject verb agreement, which is very, very, very important topic. Subject verb agreement tells you about it, how a subject and a verb should agree with each other. And then we will move on to the tenses part, right? So all of it collectively will give you a fair idea. And if you know it very well, if you do not know it, it's going to be kind of very quick revision to you. You might come across something, some information that you did not know. So let's start with the types of sentences. And I've just told you that broadly they are divided into function and structure. So we will start with the function part first. Towards your right, if you see, right, the classified according to function. Now, when I say function, every sentence has a different impact, right? If I am using, okay, before that, let's just start with this. This will give you an idea what I'm going to talk about. Look at these 4 sentences. I will give you like about 60 seconds. Read all the 3 sentences and just analyze in your mind what every sentence is trying to convey, right? What each sentence is trying to say, right? Just read and then we will discuss. If you will, while you're reading it, you will also notice that every sentence has a different tone. When you're going to read the sentence or when you're actually going to say the sentence in reality, you will have a different tone. You will have a different expression on your, face. So because every sentence is different from each other, right? Because the meaning is different, the expression is different, the tone would be different altogether, right? So why don't I read those sentences to you? I like to ride a bicycle. Okay. Do you like to ride a bicycle? Don't ride the bicycle too fast. What a beautiful cycle, right? Did you notice the difference while I was reading the sentences? Was there any difference? Quickly tell me. Was there any difference while I was, reading all the 4 sentences? So clearly, if you look at the first sentence is a simple sentence. It's a simple, declaration. It's a simple, somebody's just trying to say simply what they like. I like to ride a bicycle. It's a simple sentence. The next sentence is a question, right? Do you like to ride a bicycle? There's a question mark in the end, which is so obvious that this is a question, right? Next is don't ride the bicycle too fast, right? It's like giving a command to somebody. Maybe a child is riding a bicycle too fast, and the parents are refusing, and parents are saying no to it, right? And In the fourth sentence, what a beautiful cycle. Somebody is expressing their feeling and what they feel about the bicycle, right? So if you see how all the four sentences are different from each other, their functions are different. They are said it in a very different situation, in a different tone, different expression, right? Every sentence has a different meaning, right? So this brings us to the our four types of sentences, which I will be discussing one by one. Okay. I'm going to just put this PPT off for a while, and I will be teaching you on the board so that it's clear to everyone, right? So let's start with the first type of sentence, which was declarative sentence. As the name suggests, declarative, it's like declaring or giving a statement or just expressing your view or your opinion, or maybe it could be a universal truth, it could be a fact, anything, right? That will be called a declarative sentence, right? To give you an example, if I say, mm, I do not like coffee. Now, I am talking about my personal liking. I do not like coffee, right? It's a simple sentence that I'm going to talk about, right? If I say, we watched TV last night, I am simply giving you, my some information that what did I do yesterday, right? Now these sentences are simple sentences. They just tell you about something. So declarative sentences, they just give you some information. What do they give you? They give you some information, some sort of information. Like I just said, information could be any fact, it could be your personal opinion, it could be something about yourself, or maybe you have something that you have read somewhere, anything that you know, right? Points to be noted is a declarative sentence starts from a capital letter like every other sentence, irrespective of what kind of a sentence we are talking about, it will always start from a capital letter, right? Declarative sentences ends with a full stop. Okay. So this is in terms of, if I break down the components of a sentence, a declarative sentence starts from a capital letter, it ends with a full stop. Simple. That's it, right? When we talk about the structure, just the way any sentence has a structure, it's simple subject plus verb plus the object. This is a simple, any clause or any sentence structure, that is a structure of a declarative sentence. It could be a positive sentence, it could be a negative sentence. Positive sentences, I like coffee. Negative sentences, I do not like coffee. Right? So I hope you know what positive sentences are and what negative sentences are. Am I clear? Yes. All right. So are we clear about declarative sentences? Can I move on to the next one? Yes. Okay. The next one is in interrogative sentences. Now, interrogative sentences, again, as the name suggests, interrogative means interrogation, when you are questioning someone. Okay. So, this is again very simple. And interrogative sentences are the most easy one to find out. Do you like coffee? Now this is a Now this will be a interrogative because I'm asking a question, right? There is nothing, further to explain interrogative sentences. Whenever you are asking a question for some information, or when you just want to ask for something, you use interrogative sentences. You question, right? May I come in? Right? would you, would you like to come home for dinner tonight? Okay, these are all questions, right? Now, the features is capital letter again, and it ends with a question mark. Okay, interrogative sentences always ends with a question mark. If you do not put a question and you are question mark and you're asking a question, the people will not understand what you're trying to say, right? They'll get confused if it's a statement or a question because the question mark is missing. Question mark is very important, right? Now, when we talk about the structure, right? Structure is, of course, the question words. Uh, Mostly we use what, which, who, whom. Question words are what, which, who, whom. Then you have how. Then you have do, does in some cases, is, are. Okay, are you coming today? So whenever you have a question, okay, then you use a question word, then you use an auxiliary if required, then you use the subject and then the verb. Okay, okay, are we clear? Yes, the placing can change according to the questions here. Are we clear about the interrogative sentences and declarative sentences? Is there any confusion that anybody has? Okay, just to give you an idea for the structure, where are you going? Okay, if the question is where are you going? So where is the question word? Then are is the auxiliary verb because it's going to support the going part. You is the subject here because you is being questioned and going is the verb. Am I clear? The placing can change here and there depending on the question, the framing of the question, right? But what will not change is the question mark, a question word in the beginning and question mark in the end. This is the only thing that will not change, right? In the middle, things can change. Are we clear? Yes, are we clear about? So when I ask you, are we clear? I would appreciate if you could just send me yes or clear or something like that so that, I can move on. And I know that you are moving along with me. Okay. Next is the imperative sentences. Now, in terms of imperative sentences are those sentences that are used to express any instruction, any order, any command, any advice, request, proposal, suggestion, anything, right? If I tell you, if I'm giving you, basically you're making a cake and I'm telling you a recipe, right? I'm giving you instructions how to bake a cake. That is an imperative sentence, right? If I'm giving you any command or any order, if I'm giving you any advice that you should obey your elders, right? This is an advice, right? You take it or you do not take it, that's up to you. Close the window, right? That's an order, right? Get your hands up, again, that's an order, right? Now, what needs to be noticed is in imperative sentences, you can use full stop also in the end and you can use question mark also in the end, depending on the mood, right? If somebody is very angry, if I say, close the door, right? If I'm telling someone, close the door right away, right? In that case, I will use the exclamatory mark because I am talking in anger here, right? But if I'm telling someone very politely, please close the door, right? In that case, I will use the full stop. Am I clear? Yes. So this is the request because I am requesting someone please close the door. But here I am giving an order, right? Because I'm angry, right? Besides this, I've told you if okay somebody calls you for they're coming to your place and they don't know the directions to come to your to reach to your place, and they call you that we are standing here and where should we go, and you tell them take the first left, now take the second right, and there is going to be roundabout, take the circle. That is all these are all the imperative sentences. Am I clear? Yes. Yes. Okay. Uh, Accept the requesting part. Most of the imperative sentences they start with the verb also, right? Take the right turn, right? Put some oil in it, right? So imperative sentences can start straight from the verb itself. Clear? Am I clear? These are very easy, very, very easy ones. Okay, the last is the exclamatory sentence. Now, exclamatory sentences are those sentences uh, which express some strong feelings, joy, sorrow, regret, surprise, wonder, whenever you're expressing something, right? So you had a delicious pizza and you want to just express your joy of eating that amazing pizza. You will say, what a tasty pizza, right? You want to wish someone happy birthday. So you're excited about somebody else's birthday and you wish them and you want to express your joy that it's your birthday and I'm very happy for you. Then you use exclamatory mark, or you want to express your happiness, and maybe you want to express some sorrow that oh my god, how did this happen? You've heard a shocking news and you want to express that. That is when you use exclamatory sentences. Features to notice: exclamatory sentences ends with exclamation mark, right? Okay, so now you have to read the sentences very carefully to find out if this is imperative or exclamatory. Okay, here again you have to read the sentence very carefully to notice if it's a declarative sentence, it's an imperative sentence. How will you find out what is the difference? Declarative sentence is only giving an information, but imperative will give you one of these: instruction, order, command. Everything is mentioned in your study material. Advice, request, proposal, suggestion. One thing has to be there, right? In the exclamatory part also, you have to notice, right, what the sentence is trying to tell you, right? If you think it's an order, an exclamatory mark has been used, then that's an imperative, right? But happy birthday or happy new year or what a tasty pizza cannot become imperative because these sentences are expressing your emotions. Am I clear? Yes. Yes. Okay, are we clear about these types of sentences? So types of sentences ends here based on function. Are we clear till here? I am quickly sharing a PPT with you for a quick revision, a quick exercise. So, okay. Okay. Now, look at these sentences that are mentioned here on your screens. You have to quickly tell me which is interrogative, which is declarative, which is imperative, and which is the exclamatory sentence. Okay, I'll give you like exactly 2 minutes for this. Exactly 2 minutes. Not more than that. You want me to enlarge the screen a bit for you guys? Okay. You have exactly 2 minutes for this. Quickly. All right. I see many of you have already answered. So I'll just quickly tell you the answer. And after that, I usually what I do is when I've told you the answer, you can do cross check your own responses. You can send it to me like all correct or nine correct, eight correct, seven correct, whatever. How many, whatever number you got it right, you can just mention it for me. Okay. Will you wait here for me? So, will you wait for me is a question. So, of course, it's interrogative. Please leave your footwear outside. This is an imperative sentence, right? So, you are, requesting someone to leave the footwear outside. I am so excited. This is an exclamatory sentence because you're expressing your excitement. Where have you been all this while? It's a question, right? People have been asking me for the structure for interrogative that, subject is here and verb is there. I told you this and I've specified this twice while I was explaining that what remains the same is question word in the beginning and a question mark in the end. In the middle, the words can shuffle from here to there based on the question you're asking. Yes, totally depending on what you've been asking. But in this case, where have you been all this while? This is the same structure that I told you. Question word plus the auxiliary, then the subject, verb, and then the rest of the sentence, object here, right? We will not tolerate this. What is this? Is this a declarative or imperative? This is declarative. You're just telling that we will not tolerate this. My sister lives in Mexico, declarative. Do it a bit more carefully, imperative. The ball rolled slowly into the goal, declarative. I do not believe that you said that, imperative. Okay, so just quickly tell me how many of you got what, how many right? Okay, now let's move on to the sentence. Based on structures. Now, the structure will tell you about how sentences differ from each other, the way they are constructed, the way they are constructed or built upon or framed. Am I clear? Yes. Before that, I believe somebody has asked me for the exclamatory marks sentence structure. I don't know who asked it, but somebody asked. I'm glad you asked because I forgot about it. So this is how it is. What? Okay, or any how, what, any question word that fits here. Plus mostly adjective, right? Noun plus subject plus word. Okay. Another way it could be adjective plus adverb also. Okay. Yes, and the subject will work for it. Clear? Right. Now, sentence structures. Let's start one by one. Please listen to me very carefully. This will really help you when you're doing your writing skills, right? Uh, these things mostly help you when you're writing something, right? You're writing a formal email. You are, texting someone, or maybe you're writing an article, or professional, or related to your work for a business magazine, for a business newspaper. So whenever you're writing, if you know how to construct your sentences correctly and convey the meaning, that will help you. This will actually improve your writing skills, right? So shall we begin with sentence structures? Are you all ready? Are you all done with that? Okay, let's start with the first one, which is the simple sentence. As the name suggests, it's simple, right? I always like to connect the things with the names because that makes it easier for you to remember. And I always believe that if any concept is named, then that of course is related to that name only. The name explains you a lot about the concept. So the simple sentence is a simple sentence. That means we're going to follow the simple structure, right? A simple sentence has the simple structure of subject, verb, and object. Yes, it will have a simple subject plus predicate, right? If I say she wrote, right? Now this is the simple sentence. She wrote, right? So this is enough, right? If I say she completed her literature, she completed her literature review, right? So these are simple sentences. They are just giving you one single thought, right? It is just convey it completely, one single thought, and completely convey it, right? There is nothing incomplete here. So these are the simple sentences, right? It has a subject, it has a verb, direct object, indirect object, everything is there. Am I clear? Yes. So I don't think I need to drag on to the simple too much. It could have two verbs also because in that sense, she uh, ran and reached on time. She ran and reached on time. So they're like two verbs that has been used together. I'm talking about two activities, but about the same person. The same person was reaching to the some person, to the same place. All right. So let's not complicate this. Simple means simple. One sentence only, right? And no complication, nothing about it, right? It is just talking about the single stuff. Next is the compound sentences. You know the meaning of the word compound? Does anybody know what is the meaning of compound? Compound is when two things are come together and mixed together, right? So in a compound sentence we have two or more independent clauses, two or more Yeah, so compound has two independent clauses, right? That comes together. Yes, and that is joined using a coordinating conjunction. Okay, so it has at least two, or it could be more independent clause, right? And they join using coordinating conjunctions. Now, coordinating conjunction, or sorry, coordinating conjunctions or semicolon or comma, right? Okay, if I give you an example, she completed her literature review. Okay, now I'm going to add on here, and she created list. Okay, Take one more example here, then explain you again together. Mary went to work, but John went to the park. Okay, now these two sentences have independent two clauses, right? Look at the first sentence. She completed her literature review. This is independent clause. This is conveying you the complete meaning. It is not dependent on anybody else, right? The next one is she created her reference list. This is again an independent clause. It is not dependent on anything, any other words or any other thing. Am I clear? Yes. Any confusion that you have so far? Yes, and it is being connected with a coordinating conjunction, right? Coordinating conjunctions are basically that the coordinating conjunctions are those conjunctions that connect to nouns, to verbs, to modifiers, to independent clauses, right? The words like for, and, nor, or, but, yet, and so, right? So the list is given in your on your page number 2.11 of coordinating conjunctions, and there are correlative conjunctions also that they work in pair, and something like uh, either or, neither nor. So these are the correlative conjunctions, right? The work conjunctions that come together in one sentence. So whenever these conjunctions are used, most of the times two independent clauses are joined together, right? If you remove them, you will get two independent clauses, right? But two independent clauses have been, clubbed into to make it as a one sentence using coordinating conjunctions. This is why this is called compound sentence, right? Because I have mixed, or maybe I've joined together two sentences, right? Two different sentences. They are expressing two different thoughts, right? Look at the next one. Mary went to work. This is one independent clause, right? The other one is John went to the park. This is another independent clause, but they are joined together using but. Clear? So good so far. Any problem that you guys have? Any problems? Are we clear with simple and compound? Okay, great. Sejal, I will take this up later on because next chapter is about vocabulary, and we will be just talking about how to build on to the vocabulary. So we will be discussing about that later on. Okay, let's start with the next one. That is the compound. That is the complex sentences. Am I making this mistake? Okay, so now compound complex sentences, as the name suggests, this is a bit complex. Okay, how is it complex? Let's look at that. In a complex sentence, you have at least one main clause, Okay. Then you have one or more dependent clause. Okay, so you have one main clause at least, and you could have one or more dependent clause. Am I clear? Yes. So this is why this is complex, because this is complex. Now you have mix of in main, independent, and dependent clause, right? Yes. Okay. Now, if you look at this sentence, look here. Although she completed her, oh, I'm so sorry about my handwriting, but I'll try to make it better. Okay. Now, although she completed her literature review, she still needed to work on her methods section. Okay. Now, which is the main clause and which is the dependent clause here? Okay, which one is the main clause and which one is dependent? Quick. Okay, this one is the main clause. She still needed to work on her method section. This can survive alone, right? But although she completed her literature section review, we don't understand what are they trying to say, right? Yes, yes. So this is the dependent clause. So whenever there's a mix of dependent clause and independent clause, it becomes a complex sentence, right? Take another example. They studied a APA rules for many hours. Sorry, as they were so interesting. Okay. Um, I will be telling you something very, very important here. Kajan, the subordinate clause is a dependent clause. Okay, I am glad that you guys are getting it. Very good. Very, very good. Okay, so they studied APL rules for many hours as they were so interesting. Now, in this one, the main clause starts from they studied APL rules for many hours, right? As they were so interesting becomes the dependent clause. Okay. Now, if you notice the words like as, although, right? These are all the subordinate conjunctions. There is entire list of subordinating conjunctions given in 2.12 page number. On page number 2.2 function page number. So now these basically this subordinating conjunction builds a link between two clauses, right? In terms and it indicates time, place, manner, reason, condition, and concession, right? So after, where, as if, because, although, though. So whenever you see such words, these are the subordinating conjunctions, and automatically you will mean one is the dependent clause. Whichever clause starts from a subordinating conjunction, it becomes a dependent clause. Am I clear? Yes. Okay. Now, one small, but it's a very big, point about the sentence structure, the use of comma. If you've noticed, in the first one, I have used the comma. In the second one, I have not used the comma. Have you noticed it by any chance? Whenever a sentence starts from a dependent clause and wherever the dependent clause ends, we will use the comma. Okay? Whenever a sentence starts from a dependent clause, we will use the comma wherever it ends and wherever the main clause starts. But if a sentence starts from main clause, we might not use the comma, that because there is no need to it. Clear? Yes. Yes. All done. Okay, let's quickly finish before we go to the break. Let's just complete with the sentences part. So the next is the compound, complex, now if you know the compound, you know the complex. I hope you get an idea when I say compound complex, it means I am going to now mix the features of both. That means compound complex sentences are those sentences which has two independent clauses and at least one dependent clause. Yes, right? Are we clear with this? This has two independent clauses plus one main. So whenever you're practicing and just to make your work easy, you can just, write it like this on the top, on the top of the topics that you're studying. Rangna, Rangna, your doubt about this, okay. So page number 2.2, I think there is some error. It is not three subordinate clauses, it is two only. No, it's three only. It's right, Rangna. I think is the main clause here. Okay, so Rangana has a doubt where she asks that in the complex sentences topic, the last example, it says, I think that you should ask him personally if it is convenient for him before you call on him, right? So there is one clause with three subordinate clauses because I think is the main clause here. That you should ask him personally is the first subordinate clause. The second is if it is convenient for him. Second, before you call on him. There's so many, topics that we're talking about in this one sentence, but I think is the main clause, right? So this is correct, absolutely correct. Okay, I got distracted, I'm sorry. Let's come back to the complex compound sentences. So this one has two independent clause and one dependent clause. Let's quickly look at this, example here. She completed her literature review. She completed her literature review, but she still needs to work on her. I'm sorry, this it's so big and I want to just quickly write. So please excuse my handwriting. Section. Even though she finished her method, read the sentence to identify the main clause, the dependent clause, and again the independent clause. Quickly. Okay. So the first independent clause is till here. Yes, if you can spot the but here, you would know that this is the second main clause, which is sorry, second independent clause. Now, starting from even though till the end, this is the dependent clause. Read the sentence and see. You will be able to spot them. Are we clear? Yes. Okay. Are we clear about the sentences based on structure, the types of sentences based on structures? Now, why do we use complex compound? Because it's so big and it can get complicated also. But if it is used correctly as per the rules and putting the commas in place and using the conjunctions in place, it can just make your writing style more interesting. Okay. Yes. Right? Okay, let's have a quick exercise and then I will move on to the next topic. Look at these sentences and quickly tell me which is a simple sentence, which is a compound sentence, which is a complex sentence, and which is a complex compound sentence. Quick. Uh, Sanskriti, you are not asked questions from phrases and clauses in your exams. We teach you about phrases and clauses because unless you know what phrases and clauses, you will not understand the active, passive, direct, indirect. Uh, if you have gone through the past year's papers, mostly the questions are from active, passive voice and direct, indirect speech. But to understand those two topics, you need to go through all of this. Oh, yes, I can zoom the PPT a bit. Is it readable now? First is complex. Very good, Manish. Mohammed, you just have to tell me the type of the sentence. You don't have to write the entire sentence in the query box. No. The first one is complex. Very good, Manish. Quickly, who will tell me the second one? Wicked Regina cast a spell on the entire city, so the citizens decided to rebel. Okay, let's do this. I will read the sentences one by one and you quickly write down the answers. Okay. Wicked Regina cast a spell on the entire city, so the citizens decided to rebel. This is easy. Come on. There's a use of so, which is the coordinating conjunction. Sure, the second one is, shall I tell you the answer? Akanksha, very good. Second is compound. Perfect. While waiting for the paint to dry, Angela went to Home Depot and Martin organized the kitchen appliances. Uh, the third one is compound complex. Please read it again. There are two independent clauses and there is one dependent clause. While waiting for the paint to dry is dependent. Angela went to Home Depot is the uh, independent clause. And Martin organized the kitchen appliances is the independent clause. It's compound complex. After the teacher chose groups, John and Sarah were selected as partners for a project, yet Sarah did the most of the work. This is again the compound complex, if you see. Compound complex again. The woman who taught economics was fired for stealing school supplies. This is the simple sentence. After the two soccer players lost the game, they joined their other teammates for lunch and they went to the movies. Compound complex again. The shoplifters has stolen, so he ran once he saw the police. Compound. Megha and Rohit ate too much and felt sick. This is the simple. So with this, we are done with our sentences. And next, I will be quickly starting with the subject verb agreement. Let me just take a 5 minutes break. You all also take a break. And we will come back. Let me know how many were correct for you and if you are clear with sentences or not. Just leave in your comments and I will join back at 3:06. Okay. So welcome back. I know it was a very short break, but it was helpful. Um, some children have actually sent it to me. Megha and Rohit ate too much and felt sick. They're saying because there's and ma'am, so this should be a compound sentence. How? We are talking about them collectively, and we are using the two compound, verbs here, right? Can Do you think the felt sick can survive alone? Is it a main clause? Is it an independent clause? No, it is not. Okay. Yes. It's a simple sentence here. Okay. Now let's start with my favorite topic: subject verb agreement. Pranjali, I'm glad that you just got one wrong. Very good. Very well. I read one of your comments. The when we were talking about the sentence types based on functions. Oh my God, what happens to a big T? I don't believe that you said that. This is an exclamatory sentence. I don't know. Maybe there was some confusion, or maybe I said it imperative, but this is exclamatory, not imperative, right? Because I am expressing the shock here, right? Okay, so I don't know what there was some confusion from my side, or I said it wrong. I'm just correcting because I read the comments. Okay, so let's start with subject verb agreement. Okay, please keep your study material handy. I will explain you what I'm going to explain first, and after that, we will be looking at the study material. If something is left, I will, explain it to you guys from there. Just sharing my board. Subject verb agreement. As the name of the topic suggests, subject verb agreement means that the subject should agree with the verb. The verb that is used in a sentence should be used according to the subject, because we are talking about the subject, right? And this is why that we have to look after the subject. This topic is very, very important. I'll tell you why. Because, half of the people, even if they know English, they know vocabulary, they have good knowledge about the grammar part or whatever. I mean, they have good writing, creative skills to write things. But they get subject verb agreement wrong. They also get it wrong. And if you do not have a good knowledge about subject verb agreement, everything else is waste. If you do not know which verb to use with which subject, uh, the whatever you know about English will go completely waste, right? So let's try to understand. There are certain rules to it. There are about 20. I mean, there's so many rules in your book. We have about 18 rules. So besides this, you might find two or three more rules. I'm not sure. But we have these rules. So let's take them one by one. If you understand this, you are in a good place, right? Okay, let's start with the basic thing. The people who get basic things wrong. Subject verb agreement must agree in number. There is a cornerstone rule that forms the background of the concept. I am on the page number 2.13 of your study material. Okay. Now, what does that mean? The sun shines brightly. Take another example here. She writes every day. Next one, they write every day. The cats chase okay. The sun shines brightly. Please understand this rule, you should never get it wrong. The sun shines brightly. She writes every day. They write every day. The cats chase the kid. Okay. Whenever the subject is singular, we use the singular form of the verb. That is the verb and with the S or ES in the end. Am I clear? She writes. But when there is plural, we use a plural form. That is the exact form of the verb, right? We don't use S or ES. They write, the cats chase, right? But if we would have been talking about one cat, I would have said, a cat chases the kid. Okay? Please, please, please understand this rule and just go through it and read. When the subject is singular, the verb should be singular. When the subject is plural, the verb should be plural. Am I clear? Yes? Okay, quickly tell me the answer for this one because I want you to get this thing correctly for sure. Yes. The baby sleep or sleeps. Which one will you choose for the baby? Quickly answer. Quick, quick, quick. The baby sleep or sleeps? Sleeps. Very good. Okay, correct. So now you've understood singular verb with a singular subject, plural verb with a plural subject. Okay, great. Let's move on to the next one. When there is a subject of a sentence which is composed of two or more pronouns and nouns, and they are connected by and, we use the plural form of the verb. That means if I say, second rule I'm talking about, the doctor, the doctoral student, and committee members write every day. When there are two nouns that are used with the word and, we use the plural form of the verb. Am I clear? Yes? Take the other one. A car and a bike are my means of transport. A car and a bike are my means of transport. So I have a car and a bike, and I'm talking about two things here. So I will use a plural form of verb here. Okay, okay. One more thing here. People don't know when to use do, when to use does, when to use is, and when to use are. Does is used with singular subject, do is used with plural. Is with singular, are is with plural. Has is with singular, and have is with plural. Am I clear? Does, do, is, are, has, have. Was, were. Okay. If you do not know, please write it down. All right. Next. So you're done with the second rule also. Let's move on to the second rule, which says uh, subordinate clauses that come between the subject and the verb does not affect the agreement. Okay. So let's look at this. I would say here a phrase or a subordinate clause. Let's just take both. You will understand when I write the meaning. When I write the example here. The student as well as the committee members is excited. Here, my fake focus and my subject is the student here. So my user verb will be related to the student only. Am I clear? Yes. Yes. Let's look at a phrase now. The focus now, if you look at the sentence, the focus of the interviews was 9 purposely selected participants. Okay, here we are talking about the word focus. The focus of the interviews, not the interviews, the focus of the interviews was. So we are talking about the focus, we use a singular verb. Am I clear? Yes. So it doesn't matter what is in the middle. You have to see who's the subject and about whom we are talking, and then use the verb correctly. Am I clear? Yes. Okay. Uh, all right. Next is the third. A prepositional phrase cannot contain the subject of the sentence. Do not be confused when a prepositional phrase, a phrase that begins with of, in, between, and so on, comes between the subject and the verb. Right? In such a case, object of preposition appears to be the subject of the sentence, which is not. Okay. So, for example, a bouquet of yellow roses lent color to the room. First, tell me the prepositional phrase here. Quickly tell me the prepositional phrase here. The prepositional phrase is this. Okay. a bouquet of yellow roses. So we are not talking about the yellow roses here. We are talking about a bouquet, right? So forget about the prepositional phrase. Just look at the word bouquet. Bouquet is one. So we use lends, a singular verb here, right? Let's look at the next example. The boy at the door the boy at the door is my brother. Now, in this sentence, tell me the subject. Tell me the subject here. The boy at the door is my brother. Tell me the subject in the sentence. The subject is the boy. Okay. So the verb that we will use is related to the boy, and the boy is singular. At the door is a prepositional phrase. We don't have to consider it, right? Good, Kanishka. The boy is the subject. So the is that we use here is related to the boy. Am I clear? It is very, very, very important to understand and to identify the subject of the sentence. Agar aapko subject, if you do not know about the subject, then you cannot find the verb. Am I clear? Yes. Are we clear about these rules? Let's move on to the next one. Whenever a sentence starts with there and here, okay, the subject always comes after the verb. Okay, if I say, there is someone on the door. Now, there is not the subject. No, someone is the subject. We are talking about if there is someone at the door, right? So, great guys, whosoever is responding, I am very, very glad. Okay, so there is someone on the door. Now, the someone is the subject here, not there. In terms of there and here, the subject comes after the verb. There is someone at the door. So someone, we're talking about one person, we use is here. This is the subject, this is the verb. Take one more example. Here are the keys. Okay. Here are the keys. Now, here is not the subject. Keys is the subject here. And so we use are here as a verb. Okay. These are some exceptions. You just need to know about it. Okay. Next. Fifth one, I am actually following the order from your book only so that I don't miss onto any rule. Subjects don't always come after the verbs in questions. Make sure you accurately identify the subject before deciding on to the proper verb to be. Okay. So now in questions also, where are the keys? Okay. So in the question words also, whenever we are asking a question, I told you this when we are doing interrogative sentences also, that the subject comes after the verb. So keys are. Am I clear? Yes. This one is easy. Okay. You just need to identify the subject and then use the Vinayak, like I just said, the first lecture was very, very important. Yes, this is, please listen to my first lecture. You can actually, there are, other lectures also with ICAI, and I have taught this topic. This is the third time that I'm teaching. So you can actually go through those videos and find out. You can go through my PPTs also. right? But at this moment, it's very difficult for me to go back and start from the basic. Okay. The key is the subject. Very good, very good, very good, Harshita. Very good, Honey. Very good, Mitra. Okay, great. So good going, guys. Let's start with the sixth rule. Sixth rule, I've already explained it to you. When two subjects are joined by an, okay, then use a plural verb. Seventh, thank you for appreciation, Sejal. Okay. Okay. The verb is singular if two subjects separated by an refer to the same person or race thing as a whole. So now in this rule, the seventh rule that we're talking about, we are talking about a compound nouns. The words that come together only, like something like, rajma chawal, red beans and rice, is my mom's favorite dish, because we do not say rajma chawal different from each other, right? So whenever we say Rajma Chawal, we are talking about one dish, right? The captain and the coach of the team has been sacked. The captain and the coach of the team, we are talking about the same person. The captain and the coach of the team is the one person, right? And so whenever we are talking about this thing, then we use the singular verb like this: breaking and entering is against the law. We are talking about one thing collectively and we use a singular now. Similarly, these if there is or, also use of or, right? Then also we use a singular verb. The chairperson or the CEO approves the proposal before the proceeding. So when I use or, that means I'm talking about one of them. Either the chairman or the CEO has approved the plan, not both. No, only the student was the subject. Committee members was not. Okay. So next one is each, every, no, and verb is singular. Okay. Whenever we are using each, every, no, such words, the verb becomes a singular. Now how? Each of the participants was willing to be recorded. So we are talking about each of the participants, like every participant uh, was willing. Dharmender, I don't know the technicalities of Indian cricket team. I am saying if we are talking about the same person. Okay, if the captain and coach is same. Okay, each of the participants was willing to be recorded. So each and was. Am I clear? Yes. Next, no. No one is allowed to enter the classroom after 2. No one is allowed when you're using no, right? No, Nikita, plural forms means without SVS. Okay, so no, each, every, use singular one. Next is either or nor, you again use the singular. Either Jessica or Christian is to be blamed for the accident. Okay. Right. So ninth one is if the subjects are both singular are connected by, or if the subjects are both singular. Okay. Either my mom or my dad is coming. So I'm talking about either my mom or dad, both either of them. One person will come. So whenever there's either and or, we use is. Okay, if I say neither my mom nor my dad is coming, so no one is coming, not even one person is coming. Am I clear? Okay. Next, uh very important, whenever we are talking about in units of measurement, right? Some quantity like 3 kilos, $5, and 2 liters of oil, right? So whenever we're talking about some measurement, some unit of measurements, we use singular verbs always. $10 is a high price. In second sentence of this topic, which topic? My goodness, just send it one time. I'm reading your comments side by side. Don't keep sending it, okay, 5 times or 10 times. Okay, for this one you want. So the golden rule here is if both the subjects are singular, right? Okay. Not only the dog, but the cat was but also the cat was hurt. So we're talking about like both of them were hurt. But if they both are similar, we use the singular. Okay. Next, yes, I was telling you about the measurements. 2 liters of oil is available. So I'm talking about the quantity of the oil. So I will use a singular verb. Am I clear? Whenever we're talking about the singular, it doesn't matter that I'm talking about 2 liters. But whenever we talk about the quantity of something collectively, we use a singular verb. Okay. 5 years. We're talking about the measurements of time. 5 years is the maximum sentence for that offense. Singular verb is this, plural verb is this. Okay. Eats is the singular verb, eat is the plural verb. Okay. Please understand this. Don't keep asking me the basics again and again. Right. Okay. The next one is if the subjects are both plural and are connected by the words. Okay, this is done. Next is if one subject is singular and the other is plural, right? The extension to this, use the verb form so that it is nearest to the verb. Okay. Now listen here. Either the dog or the cats are there, are waiting for the food. Either the dog or the cats are waiting for the food. In this case, I told you that if both the subjects, if we're talking about two things and both are singular, we use a singular verb. But in this case, if one is singular, one is plural, it depends on which is the nearest to the verb. We will use a verb accordingly. If this becomes the cat, singular, and this becomes the plural, we will use the singular here according to the cat, because cat is closer to the verb. Clear? Yes. Neither the mother nor the children were hurt. Now, mother and children, we are talking, children are plural, so we will use a plural verb here, right? If children was here and mother was here, then we will use was here. Clear? These are the small mistakes that everybody does. And so if you just overcome this, you will be reducing your errors in English by about like what, 40%, 50% maybe. Okay, next. Yes, so few, many, several, both, all, some. Whenever we use these words, we use plural verbs. And this is quite obvious when I'm using few or when I'm using many. I am talking about more than one thing. So I am supposed to be using plural. Few were left alive after the flood. Many children are coming to Rohan's birthday party. This is quite obvious. Whenever we use these words, we are talking about more than one person or people, child. Last three rules very quickly. Two infinitives are separated by and, they took the plural form. Whenever we are using two infinitives, like to walk, to dance, to swim, to run, these are the infinitive. If you've heard my first lecture, infinitive form of verbs are to walk, to so whenever we are talking about two things and they're connected by and, we use plural verb. To watch TV and to listen to listen to music are my hobbies. I'm talking about two things here, right? Okay. Next is the gerunds. Gerunds are used again, if you're talking about one gerund, you use singular. If you're talking about two, you use the plural. To swimming is my hobby. Swimming and eating are my hobbies, right? Last and very important, okay, I'll come back to it if I missed it. Shraddha, thank you for reminding. Look at the 18th one. Whenever there are collective nouns that are used, if you know about what collective nouns are, right? A herd of cows is stampeding. The committee is the collective noun for people. Okay, committee is the group of people, a word used for the group of people. So whenever there is a collective noun used, team, staff, fleet, you basically use a singular verb. Fleet of cars, swarm of bees, herd of cows, committee. So whenever club, couple, you use the words. So it totally depends on the rest of the sentence, right? But mostly and typically you take the singular form. Okay, the group meets every week. We're talking about a particular group that meets every week. The committee agrees on the quality of the writing. Whenever we're talking about the committee, we are using the singular form. Am I clear? But if I say the couple are separating this week, I'm talking about two people, and for couple, I will use the plural form. Clear? Yes. Is there any confusion? Yes, the 10th and the 14th that was left. In the 10th, the only time the object of preposition decides plural or singular verb, object of preposition, if you know, I told you in one rule, the object of preposition, the preposition phrase does not matter. But the only time the object of preposition decides plural or singular form of verb is when noun and pronouns, subjects like some, half, none, more, all are formed by prepositional phrase. Then the object of preposition determines the former verbs. Okay, so if the starting words are some, half, none, more, or all, followed by object of preposition, then the object of preposition decides the verb. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, let's see what it means. Okay, look here. Some of the children are back home. Now, the sentence starts from some, followed by a object of preposition. Now, object of preposition is there's a preposition and there is the object, children. So, in case of this, whenever sentence starts from some, we decide our use of verb according to the object of preposition. Okay, all right. If I say, okay, half of the is sold out. Half of the collection is sold out. Now, the sentence starts from half, then comes the object of preposition, which is of the collection, and is sold out. So I'm talking about one collection, right? This is singular, which means I will use a singular verb. Yes, clear? Any problems so far? Whenever we're using indefinite pronouns, we use it to take singular verbs like everybody wants to be loved. Is anyone home? Anyone who wants to join can join in. Anyone who wants to join. Children is a plural word, not a collective noun. Anyone who wants to join can join in. Am I clear? So anyone, whenever you use the word like anyone, everybody, it's a very indefinite pronoun. You don't know whom you are referring to. You use a singular verb. Am I clear? Now, the best way to, ace at this topic is practice. Pick up, there's so many practice sheets that are available. There is exercise given in your book also. The explanation is quite thorough, and with the examples, I suggest you to start taking out the worksheets online, or maybe, any grammar book that you have. Practice. The more you practice, the better, these rules will be clear to you. Am I clear? Now let's quickly look at one exercise and then we will move on to one topic. I would like to start that topic today and maybe we can carry on tomorrow. All right, let's quickly look at this exercise. Give me your responses. You have to pick the correct options. That's it. Are we done? Shall I discuss the answers? Okay, the first answer is John and his brother are playing football. Aryan does not like to play basketball. Either of you has stolen the book. Your pants. All right. Now tell me it's is or are. The word that has S. Is pant is singular or plural? R. It has to be R. So words like scissors, pants, you always use the R with it because the thing that has two parts, right? Scissors, pants, something like this. That has two parts. You always use R with it. This is another rule. I don't know if it is mentioned in your book or not. I am not sure. But with certain words, you always use plural form of verb. My family belongs to the Mohau tribe. My family, I'm using one word for the entire family, so it has to be belongs. Mr. Swami, as well as his family, is quite humble. Mary sings very well. This novel, including all the essays, takes about 2 hours to read because we're talking about a novel here. We're not talking about the essays here. They eat lunch together every day. So we're talking about many people here again. The players as well as coach wants to win. Want to win, because players is plural here. I am not talking about the players plus coach here, but the players is plural, so I will be picking up want to win, right? Because we're talking about many players here. So are we clear about this with this topic? Yes. Okay, we still have roughly about 10 minutes. And oh, yes, if you got all right, please send me all right. And if there is a certain number of correct answers, please respond with that. I want to start with the topic, which is tenses, so that we can quickly be done with tenses and then focus on direct and indirect speech and active passive tomorrow, right? Active passive and indirect both will be very, very important topics. So be prepared with your materials, and be ready with and be clear with the rest of the topics to start with that. Okay, I'm glad whosoever got all 10 right. Let's start with the next topic. Let me just give you a brief about this topic at least. Tenses. Now in grammar, tenses are very important, and every language have tenses. So tenses actually refer to the state of the verb. Tenses affect the verbs. Okay, verbs change according to tenses. So tenses tell you about the time of the action. It tells you about the time of the action. If the action took place already, of it, or it is going to take place today, or it will happen tomorrow, right? So we broadly divide tenses into past, present, and future, right? Am I clear? Yes, right? So past is something that was already done, present is we're talking about today, and future is we're talking about tomorrow. Yes. So past is about yesterday or something that is already over, present is about today, and future is about tomorrow, something that will happen. All right, it might happen in the evening also, right? Right. Basic, just basic that I'm going to tell you right now is they write, they wrote, and they will write. Okay. Now, write is the base form of the verb, right? And we are talking about present tense here, right? This is the past, and this is the future, right? In past tense, the verb takes the second form of the verb. Okay. Homework for you guys for today, right? Go back home and take out the list of former verbs. You will have the three former verbs. Okay. So the participle form of verb and the second form of the verb and the base form of the verb. I want you to go through that list of verbs before tomorrow's class. This will really help you, right? So write is the first form of the verb. Second is wrote. Third is written. Okay. Yes, please. Yeah, I've already changed the color. It's red now, right? So something like eat. Eat is the base form of the verb, and ate becomes the second form of the verb, and third is eaten. Okay. If you know this list of verbs, you will actually understand tenses and rest of the topics better. Do, did, done, right? Am I clear? Yes, there are certain verbs whose second and third form are the same, right? They don't change their form. Okay, so they write, we are talking about the present situation. They wrote, we are talking about the task is already over, and they will write, I'm talking about the action that is going to take place. It has not taken place yet. This will take place. Clear? Yes. Okay. Now I will just take this only, the right only. Let's start with the types of past tense. Now, in a simplest form, it says they write, they wrote. Okay. The structure for the simple is subject plus second form of the verb and plus object if you need. Okay. Subject V2 plus the object. Okay. Now, when do we use simple past? We use simple past when we are talking about past habits or action that has already taken place and can be used with or without adverbs of time. Right? It just tells you automatically that that action is already over. Let's talk about the continuous. They were writing. Now, in continuous form, we use subject plus was or were. Now, was and were will depend on the use of singular or plural subject. If it is singular subject, we use was. If it is plural, we use were. Plus verb plus ing form. Writing, eating, drinking, running, swimming, right? So this is how we write the continuous form. And when do we use continuous form? To indicate the uncompleted action of the past, right? We don't know the exact time when the action was over, right? We are talking about something that's current past and still going on. The action is not completed yet, and or you don't know the action is completed yet. Am I clear? Yes. Right. So fine, I didn't think we have much of time left. Do you want me to do the present past, simple present and simple continuous also? Because these two are very easy to understand for present also. We'll touch perfect and perfect continuous tomorrow because that will take some time to explain. So in terms of present, also has one simple and one continuous. Okay. They write, they are writing. In simple present, we use subject plus the base form of the verb and followed by the object. In continuous, we use subject plus is, are, or am, depending on the subject. Am, I hope you know, it is used with I. And with the verb plus ing form, right? Now, simple present is used whenever you want to talk about some habit, some general truth. For example, like I brush my teeth. So this is a habit that you do every day, right? They write. Now you're talking about something that always takes place. Continuous, as the name suggests, something is going on. As I speak, the action is taking place, right? Or to indicate a temporary action which may not be happening at at the time of speaking. Okay. So I'll actually stop here because I don't want to confuse you guys and I don't want to rush. We will start again tomorrow, right? But again, I repeat my homework. Please go back home, find the list of verbs, and at least you should know the all three forms of the basic verbs, right? Something like is, be, do, eat, drink, sleep. So basic words so that you have a fair idea what I'm talking about in the next class. And all right, so that was it for today. And please go back and practice all the topics. And I will be uploading those MCQs by the end of the day, right? Yes, Vinayak, it is correct. Speak, spoke, spoken, right? The MCQs will be uploaded and the PPT for tomorrow will also be uploaded by tonight, hopefully, before the class tomorrow at least. And we will be discussing. If there is any problem, please let me know by tomorrow. Also, let me know how was today's class. If all the topics were clear to you, do mention. And I really wanted to also mention this that there's some feedback form that you guys are supposed to fill up. Please take out some time to fill that feedback form also. Right? You'll find my name there. All right. Thank you. Have a great day ahead, and I will see you tomorrow now.